Don't forget, folks, this set was originally an April Fool's joke. Hello and welcome everyone to this set breakdown, which is going to be the third character booster, which is going to be supporting the Rummy Labyrinth clans of Granblue and Pale Moon. Now, I do like both clans quite a lot, if not equally, but Pale Moon is the one that I actually do play, so in terms of the order, we're gonna go Granblue first, Pale Moon second, but I'm overall hyped for both of them. But this time I'm gonna try to keep it a bit shorter. Let's see if I eat those words or not, but let's start cracking. Right off the bat, one of the first and most unique parts of this set is the feature of the RLR. So here's Night Rose and Harry in their Rummy Labyrinth rare forms. I didn't find an English scan of Harry, so I used the Japanese one, but they do look pretty amazing, and the signatures are actually in the color of the card, so it's blue for Night Rose and pinkish for Harry. So yeah, these are really good looking, and they're also very, very, very expensive, so I hope you've prepared your wallet if you're interested in these. But yeah, so it's very nice. They're signed by their Japanese voice actresses, so it's overall very cool to see, and you know, if you have one, then you're definitely quite lucky. But now let's begin with Granblue, and the first card of which we're going to go over is the reprint, which is Night Rose. So this is the old Night Rose with some new art, and her thighs could literally snap my skull in half. But yeah, so this is the old Night Rose, got reprinted. Quite expensive, actually. She's still like a 10, you know, which is, I didn't expect the reprint to be that much. Even Daikaiser wasn't that much, but you know, it's a super good card, one of the best cards in the game, so it's not exactly the biggest surprise. So there we have that. And moving into the GR for Granblue, we have Pirate King of Redemption Dragut. So here's the GR and SGR. The SGR is quite nice. It has this kind of, like it was the same in Japanese with this kind of like map with text on it. So the skill is an act once per turn GB2, counterblast 2 and discard a card. You choose up to the same number of cards from your drop zone as the number of your rear guards, call them to separate rear guard circles, and for each unit with the hollow ability that was called, your opponent chooses one of their rear guards and retires them. If your opponent has no rear guards, you draw a card. So in case you don't get how this works, which is fairly simple, but some people do get confused, you pay the cost, you choose your, you know, how many rear guards you have, so let's say you have 3, so then you're going to call 3 units from your drop zone, and then for each of those that you called with the hollow ability, your opponent has to choose that many to retire, and then if they've retired, you know, everything they had and they have nothing left, you draw 1 card. So it's not draw for each retire, you just draw 1 at the end of everything, but you do have to have emptied your opponent's field. Overall, a good GR, definitely something that helps to, you know, helps out Granblue even more, helps out Night Rose even more, and you know, it's already a very strong clan. Well, a very strong deck as well, but yeah, so very good GR, overall just super solid, you know, not the most perfect thing I'd say, it's not a game finisher, but it's definitely very solid. Now, the second stride that Granblue got is Negro's Songer, and this card is very solid. So, Diabolist of Corpse Negro's Hunger has a skill that at the end of the battle that this unit attacks, you can counterblast 1, flip a G unit face up as with the same name as this unit, so essentially a Persona Blast, and you also discard a card. If you do, you look at the top 4, you put one of them into the drop zone and shuffle your deck. You choose a card from your drop zone, call it the rear guard circle, and it gets plus 5k for each face-up card in your G-zone until end of turn. In late game, this is so strong because that one thing you call out is going to get such a huge power buff because, you know, plus 5 times whatever number of face-up G units you have, so that's going to definitely add up to be quite a lot, so this is definitely a card that can be very threatening. So, now we're going to continue going through the generic cards that support the clan entirely, and then we're going to break it down into archetypes. So the next card that supports the clan entirely is Eclipse Dragon Hulk Jumbo Dragon. Skill is when you stride it, you can put 4 cards from the top of your deck into your drop zone, then it gets plus 5k for each normal unit that was put into the drop zone until end of turn. If 2 or more trigger units were put in the drop zone, choose a card from your drop zone and you may call it to rear guard circle. Very RNG, you know, you want maybe like, in a perfect case scenario, you get 2 normal units to give him the plus 10k, and then 2 trigger units to give yourself a free call. But interesting, but I don't think this should get used in a competitive deck. But, you know, interesting card, but definitely not that great, and your G-zone space is too tight anyway. Next, we have Diabolist of Tombs in Negro mode. This G-guard is amazing. So, when you guard with it, if the number of cards in your drop zone is 5 or more, you Soul Blast 1. If you do, she gets plus 5k shield until the end of that battle. Then if you have 10 or more, it gets another plus 5k shield, and if you have 15 or more, it gets another plus 5k shield. So a total of plus 15k shield if you have 15 or more cards in the drop zone, so that's a 30k shield for 1 Soul Blast. Super good G-guard, and definitely, you know, a good one of in your Granblue G-zone. Definitely a really, really solid card, and I like this one a lot. And then we do have a few more reprints. Actually, we have King Serpent that got reprinted as a rare, Tommy the Ghosty Brothers got reprinted as a rare, and Swordmaster Mimic also got reprinted as a rare. And the legendary card that we have is Howard the Ghosty, which is basically a put in the soul and give something plus 3k. Probably won't get used because you don't really need that in Night Rose of all things, so interesting card, but probably won't be used for now. So now let's break it down into the 3 archetypes that are present for Granblue. I'm gonna go from least favorite to most favorite, I guess. We're gonna start off with 7 Seas, and the first card of which we have is 7 Seas Dignitary, Knight Zeola. The strike skill is Limit Break 4. At the end of the battle, if this unit attack the Vanguard, you can combat the 7 Seas, choose 2 cards with 7 Seas in their card names from your hand and discard them. If you do, put this unit into your G-Zone face up, choose up to 1 Grade 3 card with 7 Seas in this card name from your drop zone, and ride on Vanguard Circle as rest. So, you can break ride after this battle, but you don't get an extra attack, but you do get to call out 2 new things and give them plus 5k. So, interesting card, does help just basic 7 Seas, because the deck has gotten weaker over time. You know, it's not a big surprise when Night Rose is so good, but overall, pretty nice stride. The Limit Break 4 is also interesting that they put that there, but I'm not sure if it was necessary or not, but, well, I guess it is necessary because you do need to, you know, do your whole break ride combo regardless, but, you know, fairly cool, fairly cool. Next we have 7 Seas Crack Soldier Knight Jasper. When he attacks the Vanguard, you can mill 2. If you do until the end of that battle, this unit gets the skill. When this unit's attack hits, if your Vanguard has 7 Seas in its name, you countercharge 1, soul charge 1. Just some on-hit pressure, not sure if this would be played because I think the grade 2 lineup for 7 Seas should already be fairly tight. So yeah, not sure if this would see play, but definitely an interesting card. Next we have 7 Seas Shipmate Knight Alert. When this unit is called from your drop zone, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with 7 Seas in its card name, you can combat the 7 Seas. If you do, this unit gets plus 2k and the skill that when your Vanguard attacks, you can put into your soul to draw a card. Fairly nice because, well, like you don't, I'm not too sure if you really need, well no, you would need. Fairly nice card, gives you a soul, gives you a draw, does eat up the counterblast, but also gets the 2k, so it can potentially be a 9k attacker, and it works off of Vanguard attacking, so it's kind of nice that it's that interaction rather than at the end of its own battle, if that would matter to you, 7 Seas players. But overall, nice grade 1. I remember when this got revealed, people were freaking out that we're going to get even more 7 Seas cards, but in the end we only got one more, which is 7 Seas Private Styx. His skill is when your other unit with 7 Seas in its name is placed on Rearguard Circle from drop zone. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with 7 Seas in its name, you can put him in the soul. If you do, choose a grade 1 or greater 7 Seas from your drop zone and call it, and at the end of that turn, retire that unit. What this very long-winded skill is trying to say is that when you call a 7 Seas from the drop zone, if your Vanguard is a 7 Seas, you just basically call out another grade 1 or greater, and then at the end of the turn, retire it like you would with most 7 Seas stuff. So, pretty nice because grade 1 or greater does give you access to quite a few nice cards. But yeah, so this is the last 7 Seas card for this set, so there really aren't that many, and I know that people were freaking out quite badly when they first started getting revealed, but it's definitely not something to worry about. Next up we have the archetype that basically got started being a thing from this set, which is Ghosties. So the main and pretty much the only grade 3 you use for Ghosties is Ghosty Leader Demetria. So she has 2 skills, one of which is when your rearguard is retired, choose a normal unit with grade less than that unit and Ghosty in its card name from your drop zone, and you may call it to rearguard circle. If you do, this unit loses this ability until end of turn. That timing might be a bit confusing, so in the description I'm going to link a little article on Ghosties and how to use them, especially with this card, which also explains the ability. But let's go over the second skill first. When you ride her, you can soul blast 2 Ghosties. If you do, reveal cards from the top of your deck until grade 1 is revealed. Choose a grade 1 card with Ghosty in its card name from among them, put it into your hand, and put the rest into your drop zone. So, pretty interesting skill. The first one is obviously the one that kind of, you know, tilts heads, I guess. So, yes, I'm gonna, as I said before, I'm gonna link the article which explains Ghosties a bit more if you do want to try playing them, and hopefully that does clear some things up for you guys. So the next Ghosty we have is Fabian the Ghosty. He has Hollow and GB1 Vanguard Rearguard Circle. When it's in attacks the Vanguard, he gets plus 4k until the end of that battle. Pretty standard stuff for these kind of grade 3s with 10k power. And the skill that does actually matter is when this card is put into your drop zone from your deck, you can count as 1. If you do, call this card to an open Rearguard Circle as Hollowed. That part I kind of like, but that's about it. Next we have Clemmy the Ghosty. Continuous during your turn. If the number of cards in your drop zone is 5 or more, he gets plus 2k. Then if the number of cards with Ghosty and the card names is 10 or more, he gets another plus 5k. So a total of a, 16k attacker essentially, so definitely nice because you don't have to do much for it, just have things in your drop zone. Second skill is if the number of cards in your drop zone with Ghosty and their card names is 10 or more, this unit gets plus 5k shield. So it also gets some shield, so overall a very well-rounded grade 2, and I actually quite like this one. Next is Hesketh the Ghosty. When this unit is called, this unit gets plus 3k power until end of turn. If the number of cards in your drop zone with Ghosty and their card names is 3 or less, you can rest him. Or well, you have to rest him, so don't call him unless you have 3 or more Ghosties in your drop zone, otherwise you're going to lose that little power bonus. Now the next skill is, once per turn, act, Counterblast 1, put 1 card from the top of your deck into your drop zone. If that card is a card with Ghosty in its card name, stand this unit and it gets plus 3k power until end of turn. So that's basically, you would use that if you don't have the 3 or less. I mean, if you do have 3 or less Ghosties in your drop zone, but apart from that, I don't see the second one being that useful, especially in later stages of the game. Maybe just in early game. Next, we have Quincy the Ghosty. Drop zone skill, act GB1, Counterblast 1, choose one of your grades or your rearguards and put it in the bottom of your deck. Call this card to an open rearguard circle. So, fairly standard stuff, but nice. And it's nice that it puts on the bottom of your deck, although would be nice if it retired, because if you retire your Grenache, you can at least bring it back and then keep doing stuff. All this puts it back, so could be a bit better. But his second skill is when your Vanguard with Ghost in his card name is attacked, you can retire him. If you do, choose one of your Vanguards and it gets plus 5k shield until plus 5k power until the end of that battle. So it's okay card. I wouldn't say it's very amazing or anything, just alright. Next is Jackie the Ghosty. It has Hollow and GB1. When this unit attacks the Vanguard, this unit gets plus 2k until the end of the battle, so there's a 9k attacker. And if this unit is Hollow, this unit gets plus 2k and intercept. So 11k grade 1 attacker, and the intercept I don't really get, because it's like, if you Hollow it on your turn, he gets the 2k but he's gonna die. So essentially you have to call it out on your opponent's turn and Hollow it in order to give it the intercept, which is a little bit... I don't like that part too much. It kind of clashes with the idea of Hollow. So, not sure how I feel about this one. I just wanted to mention that little contradiction, I guess. But the final Ghosty card is Matt the Ghosty. So it's a starter and it has an act, put him into your soul. Put the top 2 cards of your deck into the drop zone. If you put a card with Ghosty in its card name, you soul charge 1. And if you put 2 Ghosties, then you counter charge 1. So, just kind of, gives you 2 soul and a counter charge if you got lucky, but that's about it. So that's the last of the Ghosty cards, and now we're gonna finally go over to the main treat of Granblue, which is none other than the Queen Night Rose herself. Alright, so we're gonna begin with the new Night Rose, which is Vampire Princess of Starlight Night Rose. So she does have Hollow printed on her, so that's at least nice to have that. Next is Vanguard and Rearguard Circle skill. Once per turn GB2, when your unit is placed on another Rearguard Circle from drop zone during your turn, you may Soul Blast 1. If you do, choose a grade 1 card from your drop zone and call it to another Rearguard Circle in the same column as this unit. So this isn't as useful on Vanguard Circle because usually you'll be striding and won't be calling anything behind her because you'll be on a stride. But if you have her on the Rearguard Circle, which is her ideal place, you'll be able to get something behind her essentially for just a Soul Blast 1. So overall this GB2 is nice for its Rearguard Circle part. Her second skill is when you stride, you can Counterblast 1. If you do, you mill 3 and choose a card from your drop zone, call it to Rearguard Circle, and if that unit has the Hollow ability, it gets plus 3k until end of turn. So it's essentially a little bit better version of the older skill. Well, you can argue if it's better or not, but I think it's alright. But overall, she's better in the Rearguard Circle, and she's also better as a 1 or 2 of, with the old Night Rose still being at 4. So looks amazing, but skill-wise isn't that great, but still a very solid card for the deck that she's in. Next up we have Maltreat Shade. So she has Hollow and GB1. When this unit is retired from your Rearguard Circle due to the effect of a Hollow ability, if your Vanguard's a Night Rose, you may put this card on the bottom of your deck and counter charge 1. And her final skill is when she attacks your Vanguard's a Night Rose, she gives plus 2k for each of your hollowed units until end of that battle. So that can add up quite a bit, but I'm not sure why this is a double rare. I feel she's not really that amazing. The power can surely go up a fair bit, but it's not really going to be hitting huge amounts of power every turn because, I just don't see that happening. But yeah, the counter charge is okay, but that's kind of it. And sending her to bottom deck, means you can't bring her back next time without milling her or, dropping her from drive checks. Just kind of, yeah. Not sure why this is a double rare. I feel like there's better cards out there to put in that spot, but oh well. Next we have Seawall Banshee. So this is the new Perfect Shield. Does have Hollow and does have the ability to guard any unit that's being attacked. It's not just Vanguard. But the second skill is when this hollowed unit is retired on GB2, if you have a Vanguard with Night Rose in its name, you can Soul Blast one and discard a card from your hand and choose another Seawall Banshee from your drop zone and put it in the bottom of your deck. If you do, you return her to your hand. So she's kind of like the Luard Perfect Shield. It's pretty much very similar to that actually. So overall, good card, but I think a lot of people are still going to stay with the countercharging one. Next is a very solid new grade 1, which is Fatal Shade. Has Hollow and has the skill that when this unit is retired from your Yoga Circle due to the effect of the Hollow ability, if your Vanguard is a Night Rose, you may Soul Blast one and put it on the bottom of your deck. If you do, choose a non-grade 1 card from your drop zone and call it to Rearguard Circle. So this is better than the grade 2 one, I feel, because your grade 2 space isn't as tight. While the grade 1, you can afford to play this as a one of, and then, you know, still get it off every now and then. And it is retired from the Hollow, but you can always call out a Cannoneer or a Lazy, and then from that you can have plays on your opponent's turn, basically, with the G-Guard and whatnot, so, and with Night Rose's GB2. So this card is definitely quite solid, and I do really like it. Next up, we have the card that kind of blew up the community for a good 2 days, which is G-CHB03. So this is a starter that had a different printing on the first reveal, which led to an infinite combo, but it got the text changed, which now no longer does the infinite combo. So let's go over the skills. It does have Hollow, and when the attack of your unit with Night Rose in this card name hits a Vanguard, you can counterblast one and put this unit in the soul. If you do, choose a grade 1 card from your drop zone, call it to Rearguard Circle, and it gets +3k until end of turn. So that skill's there. It's not a GB1, which is quite nice. Now its last skill is an Act Drop Zone GB1, Soul Blast 1 and choose a grade 1 or greater Rearguard and rest it. Call this card to an open Rearguard Circle as hollowed. So that's that last part, which was the controversial one, which got changed. You can probably find the old text somewhere online. I don't really feel like digging into it too much because it's kind of like, you know, why bring up history that never came to be? This kind of, I don't really like doing these kind of things, so there's that. Next up we have Skeleton Marauder. Has Hollow and has the Act Drop Zone skill on GB1, counterblast 1 and choose one of your grade 1 rearguards and rest it. Call this card to an open rearguard circle as hollowed and it gets +4k until end of turn. Okay card, becomes a 12k but 8k base, does hurt if you do ride it, so not the best card, but as I do with a lot of things, I thought I would mention it. And the final Granblue and Hollow card is Screaming Banshee. So, has Hollow and has 2 GB1 skills, first one of which is when it's called, you choose one of your other rearguards with the Hollow ability and you may have it become hollowed. Second skill is when this unit is retired from Rearguard Circle due to the effect of the Hollow ability, you may bind it face up if you do draw a card. So, you're not really gonna get it back from that bind zone, but at least you get an extra draw. So the stand isn't all that great. It's obviously not the ghosty one, but still, maybe could be played, but probably not. So that's gonna be it for the Granblue one, and so far I am keeping up with my with the fact that I said it. I'm gonna try and keep this quicker. So this was the Granblue part, and now we're gonna be moving on to Pale Moon. Did you know I managed to eat a whole yogurt in between these two parts? So let's take a look at Pale Moon, and we have a total of, I believe, 3 archetypes to go through. So we have Nightmare Dolls, we have Magia, and we have the one that I actually care about, my dear Silverthorns. So the first card of which is Masked Magician Harry, so this is the trial deck reprint, and I feel like this one does look a bit better. The pose is a little bit more dynamic. You can see his little like ponytail-ish kind of thing, but it's more of a man bun really, so there's that. But I feel like Harry, you know, he's okay looking, but nothing too exciting. So, let's go through the generic cards first, and obviously starting off with the GR and SGR, which is Parallel Megatrick Fairfield. Now actually, like for the longest time I forgot what he even did, because this card's been revealed for such a long time, but it's a Magia, act once per turn GB3, counterblast 2 and choose a card from your drop zone and soul, return them to your deck. You choose a card from your soul and call it a Rearguard Circle, and until end of turn it gets +10k in a crit, and the skill that act, you can soul blast 2 until end of turn, this unit gets +5k and cannot be chosen by card effect, and shuffle your deck. At the end of that turn, put that unit into your soul. So, overall it's actually a pretty solid skill, because you call something out, you give it a total of 15k, and a crit, and it cannot be, you know, Denial Griffin and like the Narukami one as well, and just all these things that can get rid of your attackers. So giving it the crit, it was a nice little addition, and I think this card is actually quite solid. It's also alright as a one-of in Silverthorns, I think, even though the counterblast cost is a bit hefty, but I think it's actually quite alright. Not sure if it's strong enough for a GR. It could do this with 2 rearguards, that would be very cool, but yeah, not sure if the cost balances out for how much this does, but it's okay. Also, the SGR doesn't look as good as the Granblue one, but it's still alright. Alright, so let's go over the rest of the generic cards. The next one we have is Crudelis Dragon Master Janet. Her skill is, when you stride her, you can counterblast 1 and choose one of your rearguards and put it into your soul. If you do, choose a card from your soul and call it to rearguard circle, and it gets +2k until end of turn. If you call the unit with the Magia ability, you may soul charge 1. So it's generic until it hits that last part with the Magia part, but it's okay. You could use this in other decks like Nightmare Dolls and Silverthorns, but you have other first strides for that, because I don't see this as anything else apart from a first stride, so it's kind of okay for that one purpose. Next we have Jester Demonic Dragon Wandering Dragon. So this is the rare G-Guard. When you guard with it, you can soul charge 1 and choose a card from your soul and call it to Guardian Circle. So fairly nice. You can call out a trigger that you may have soul charged and, you know, get yourself a 10k shield off of that. So not as good as the Granblue one, but still fairly okay. Next we have Gun Salute Dragon End of Stage. This card has a pretty good meme. I think it also created a infinite combo or something, but I don't remember what it was because it was kind of hard to follow, and it was revealed at a time that it was pretty busy, I think. But anyway, his skill is, when this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle and rides a grade 3 unit, so essentially when you break ride in a way, but not on Limit Break 4 obviously, it gets a skill. You, at the end of the battle this unit attacked, and if you do not have any cards in your soul, you can counterblast 2 and choose 4 of your rearguards and put them into your soul. If you do, stand this unit. Pretty interesting because it's not once per turn, so you can do that as many times as possible, and there is an infinite combo that can do this, so do, you know, keep that in mind. Other skill is, when this unit attacks the Vanguard, you may put all the cards from your soul into your drop zone. If you do, this unit gets +5k for each card put into the drop zone until end of that battle. So that's how you get the empty soul, just, you know, attack with him and you get it. So there is an infinite combo, but I can't really remember what it was too well because, like I said, it just got revealed at a time when I was quite busy and just didn't have enough time to pay attention and test it out myself, basically. But just, you know, I'm sure a bit of Googling will get you where you need to be. Next we have a reprint of Masquerade Bunny. So this, you know, I don't know if this one's better. It's more chest focused, while the old art was more pit focused, and I think that's a bit superior. Next we have Dancing Knife Dancer. Fairly redundant name, but when it attacks, this unit gets +2k until the end of that battle, and at the end of the battle, this unit attacked the Vanguard. If the attack didn't hit, you can put him into your soul. I think he's quite okay, actually, because 11k attacker, and then if it didn't hit, you put him into the soul, and then you can just pop him out again, and I don't know, I think it's actually okay. It might have been better if it released a while ago rather than now, but it's definitely okay. Next is a reprint of Nightmare Doll Juliet. This was a promo print like once or twice, I think, so it is a reprint, and the last reprint is Sky High Walker, which is the stand, which when you put in the soul, you can countercharge 1. Now, in terms of archetypes, we're going to go from, I guess, my least favorite to my favorite, so we're going to start off with Nightmare Dolls, which are the only Pale Moon archetype that I haven't actually played yet. Well, haven't played physically yet. So, Nightmare Doll of the Abyss Eleanor is the new stride. She has an act once per turn. Choose a face-down Workeroid from your G-Zone and turn her face up, and choose a card from your hand and put it into your soul. Look at the top 10 cards of your deck, search for up to 1 grade 3 Workeroid from among them, reveal it, put it on your Vanguard Circle as a heart or into your soul, and shuffle your deck. If you put it on your Vanguard Circle as a heart, put all of your other heart cards into the drop zone. So sadly not in the soul, which is a bit unfortunate because if it was in the soul, then if you rode the Alice and then strode on top of it, you could just put it back in the soul, but then if you ride on the Alice and stride into this, it's a bit unfortunate, but, you know, okay stride, but doesn't do that much. So again, it's kind of like a first stride or nothing really. That's kind of how it feels, but at least it does flip face up a G unit. Next we have Nightmare Doll Lisa. She has a GB1 skill. When this unit is called from soul to the effect of your Workeroid until end of turn, she gets +3k, and at the end of your turn countercharge 1. So doesn't go back to soul, but she does get, she's a 9k booster / attacker and countercharges, which the deck does need when it starts, you know, really pumping out its combos. Next is this very cute Nightmare Doll Gerda. When you call her, reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck. If all of the cards have Nightmare Doll in their names, choose a card from among them and put it into your soul. Shuffle your deck. So pretty good way to fetch out Alice and anything else you might need, as well as the grade 2 that can also do Alice shenanigans. So overall, I think she could actually see play. I'm not sure because I haven't touched the Nightmare Doll deck since its last support back in GBT05, I think it was. So it's been a really long time since I've looked at the deck at all, so I'm not too sure if this is worth playing or not. And the final Nightmare Doll card is Natalie. So her skill is Act, cast 1, put her into the soul. Look at the 3 cards on the top of your deck, put 1 card from among them into your soul, put the 2 cards from among them on the bottom of your deck in any order. If you put a card with Nightmare Doll and this card name into your soul, look at 3 cards on top of your deck, put 1 card from among them into your soul, and shuffle your deck. So, complicated way of saying, look at the top 6 and 2 of them go to the bottom, and then you put 2 into your soul, and the rest go back and get shuffled anyway. So that shuffle part doesn't really... It would be nice if the other 3 that you looked at would go on the bottom as well, so then at least you're kind of creating a stack. But alright starter, definitely quite alright, but that's about all I can say about it. Alright, so moving into Harry, let's take a look at the new Grade 3, which is Masked Phantom Harry. Overall, it's not such a good card. It does have 3 skills, however, first one of which is in once per turn GB2 on Vanguard Circle only. When your Vanguard is put into your soul, you can cast 1. If you do, choose a Grade 3 card with a Magi ability from your soul and put it into your hand. If this was Vanguard on Rearguard Circle, it would have been a bit better. Next, when you write it, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put up to 1 from among them into your soul, put 1 card from among them on the bottom of your deck. You know, it's okay, you get 1 soul and 1 bot deck. Would be even better if it was 1 soul and 1 draw, but then you're kind of doing basically Amaterasu stuff. But finally, the Magia Stride skill is when you stride, you may Soul Blast 1. If you do choose a card with the Magia ability from your soul, call to Rearguard Circle, and at the end of that turn, put that unit into your soul. I think this is, of the 3, this is the best part of the skill, best part of the card, I guess, because for 1 soul, you get yourself a unit. Obviously, soul is fairly expensive in Pale Moon, but there's always some like trigger or something you can throw away. So instead of paying Counterblast, it's nice that you have this. Although in the end, Harry doesn't really eat up that much Counterblast, so, or at least back when I played it in. So I don't know how you Magia players see this, but it's overall not that good of a card. Next, we have Face Magician Lapin. Has Magia, act once per turn GB2, Counterblast 1. If you have a Vanguard with Harry in its name, choose a grade 1 card from your soul, call to Rearguard Circle, and at the end of that turn, put the called unit into your soul. So, Counterblast 1 to call out a grade 1, essentially, and it then goes back, so nothing... It's okay, because, you know, you can call out Paratrooper calls something else out, and then you can kind of combo from there, so it's definitely not bad. You know, you can also call out a Trapezist, and then Trapezist combos into something else, so it's nice that it gives you the grade 1 and not something else, so definitely quite nice. Does open some combos. And it's also like you can call out Trapezist to put something in, then call out Paratrooper. Paratrooper can call out her again, and you can use her again. Obviously it costs another Counterblast, so that can be a problem, but as I said earlier, the deck, I feel like the deck doesn't eat up that much Counterblast, or at least it didn't when I played it, so this might actually not be too bad. And then its other skill is when its unit attacks, if you have a Vanguard with Harry in its name, Soul Charge 1, and then its unit gets plus 2k until the end of the battle, and then if the Soul Charge card has the Magi ability, she gets another plus 5k, so 14k attacker, and it's not attacking the Vanguard, can also be when it attacks the Rearguard, so I actually quite like this card. She's fairly solid for Magia, and I think she will probably actually see play. Next is a Lovely Companion. This is a Perfect Guard, and it can protect any unit. And her Magia GB2 is, when she's retired from Guardian Circle, if you have Vanguard with Harry in its name, you can Soul Blast 1. If you do, choose a grade 2 card from your soul, call to Rearguard Circle, and at the end of that turn, put that unit into your soul. So you can obviously combo, you know, grade 2, get yourself a Periton. Periton calls Trapezist, Trapezist calls something else, and then, you know, you do have to be on a Harry, so you can't really combo that too much, but at least, you know, it's something. You can use Harry's GB2, the new Harry's GB2, to get yourself a grade 3 Magia from your soul into your hand. So that's kind of the interaction I see with this Perfect Guard, so at least it does something. It definitely does something, but it's a bit sad that it's restricted to Harry. If you could do this with the Legion, then this would actually be very, very cool. But I guess you already have a Perfect Guard that works with the Legion. Next we have Dagger Magician Etty. When this unit is called from hand, if you have Vanguard with Harry in its name, choose a grade 2 Rearguard card from your soul, call it to Rearguard Circle in the same column as this unit. At the end of that turn, you put that called unit into your soul. So you're not going to call Peritons off of this, but you could call that new grade 2 we just talked about. So there's that, but it is when it's called from hand, so it does restrict and, you know, lowers the opportunity of combos. But second skill is at the end of your turn, if you have Vanguard with the Magi ability, you can put him into your soul. If you do, Soul Charge 1. So get yourself another soul. Overall, not that great in my opinion, but I could be wrong on this one. Next is Pleasure Caster. It's a Harry starter, so it has a Soul GB1. At the beginning of your main phase, if you have a Vanguard with Harry in its name, Counterblast 1. If you do Soul Charge 1, call this card to Rearguard Circle, and it gets plus 2k until end of turn. So 7k on and gets you Soul Charge, but does cost the Counterblast, and obviously pulls itself out of Soul, which is also nice. But then again, Cat Knight in Boots kind of does that for free. Next is at the end of your turn, you can Soul Blast 1 and put her into your soul. If you do, choose one of your Rearguards with the Magia ability and return it to your hand. So that part I do quite like because it can pull out some interesting combos, but overall I think Cat Knight in Boots might still be the better starter. Next we have Throwing Bear and Immortal Target. Their skills are very similar and maybe even the same. So the skill is Magia. When this unit is placed on Rearguard Circle from your soul, you can Counterblast 1. If you do, choose a card from your soul, call to another Rearguard Circle in the same column as this unit, and at the end of that turn, put that unit into your soul. So one is 8k, the other is 6k, and their second skills that I believe they do share is once per turn GB1, act Soul Blast 1 until end of turn, this unit gets plus 2k, and this unit cannot be put into your soul by card effect. So I'm fairly solid that they have the same effects, pretty certain on that. So I'm just kind of flipping between the two just to make sure. But yeah, so not sure how I feel about these, but it's interesting that they gave these. The cannot be put into soul by card effects, you know, is basically against Diablo. That's kind of how I see it. But apart from that, they're not that amazing or anything, and especially the low power is also not the most attractive thing. And the last Magia card we have is Explode Gentle. Magia, act Rearguard Circle GB1, you rest him. You choose a grade 1 or greater card from your soul, call to Rearguard Circle, this unit is on. It gets plus 4k power until end of turn. At the end of that turn, put that unit into your soul. So it retires the stand trigger, but doesn't put the stand trigger back to your deck or anything. So that kind of does limit the amount of plays you can make. But it's nice that you can call something out and give it 4k and then put it back. But, you know, at least it doesn't cost anything apart from resting him and retiring him. But that does, you know, if you called him from hand, then you're losing out on your 10k shield, and that's a bit unfortunate. And now we're finally down to my favorite archetype in this set breakdown, and honestly one of my favorite archetypes in the game, which is Silverthorns. And just a little bit of trivia, but actually the deck I've owned the longest is my original, well, Lukiers essentially, back when BTO7 came out, because I've sold a lot of decks and, you know, kind of traded around, but Lukier I've had since like October-ish 2012, all the way up till now. You know, I still have my Lukiers and whatnot. They've become Silverthorns, not just Pale Moon, but this is the deck I've owned the longest, so it does, you know, have this kind of personal connection with me, I guess. So it is a deck I really enjoy playing, and I'm happy that it finally got proper support, apart from one or two cards just kind of thrown into a random main set. So I was pretty happy with these cards. They're not the best, but they're definitely something new for me to have fun with. So, the new Stride, which is Silverthorn Dragon Master Venus Lukier, has two skills. First of which is a GB3. When she attacks, you choose two of your rearguards with Silverthorn in their card names and put them into your soul. If you do, she gets an extra critical until the end of that battle. Her second skill is an act once per turn, Counterblast 1 and flip a G unit with the same name as this unit face up, so Persona Flip essentially. If you have a hard card with Silverthorn in its name, choose a card with Silverthorn in its card name from your soul and call it to Rearguard Circle. Overall okay, I think she's fine. The crit is interesting, you know, you do have to slide 2 in there, so it's kind of a bit unfortunate, but the GB3 does mean you won't be able to use it as a first stride, but you already have a first stride target, so that's not exactly the biggest problem or anything. But it's very nice that it does pull out one extra attack for you, essentially, because you can call it to just Rearguard Circle and not to open one. So overall, this stride is okay, but the card that I like even more from Silverthorns is Silverthorn Dragon Tamer Lukier. So, her first skill is in Soul Limit Break 4. At the beginning of your main phase, you can Soul Blast another Silverthorn. If you do, call this card to Rearguard Circle, and you may have her gain plus 3k until end of turn. If you do, at the end of that turn, put this unit into your soul. So, 11k base Lukier, and she has the exact same name as the old Lukier, meaning she works with the cross rides as well. And boy, is this art so fucking amazing. God, it's like, Jesus Christ, my heart cannot handle this, and neither can any other part of my body. But her second skill, which I think is exceptionally good, is when you stride a Silverthorn on top of her. During your turn, choose one of your Vanguards and give it the skill. When your unit with Silverthorn in its card name is placed on Rearguard Circle from your soul, it gets plus 3k until end of turn. So this is great because when you go into the Mystique Lukier stride, you can call out 2 and they immediately get the plus 3ks on each. So it's definitely nice. It's kind of bumping by plus 3k. And her first skill is nice as well because you can, you know, go into the Crossfight, or even if you accidentally soul charge a couple of these, you can easily call them out by soul blasting one and then give them power. They're 14k attackers. With a 7k, they're 21k columns. So this look here is definitely solid. I really like her a lot. I haven't ordered the new Silverthorn stuff yet, so the like mail day and deck profile and whatnot for this will come quite late. Like, I'm still going through some older deck profiles that I still need to make because it's not exactly the type of medium I like doing the most, but I am looking forward to playing this deck once my once I do get the cards. But yeah, so amazing art, really nice skills as well, and I'm just happy to see these cards once again. Next up we have Silverthorn Acrobat Lucamia or Lucamia. Her skill, well, first skill is when she attacks a Vanguard, if your Vanguard is a Lukier, she gets plus 2k until the end of that battle, so 11k attacker. And when her attack hits a Vanguard, you can Soul Blast a Silverthorn. If you do, search your deck for up to one card with Lukier in its card name, put it into your soul and shuffle your deck. So that immediately searches out for the new Lukier to let you use it whenever you would need to. And it also fuels up the cross-ride skills. So essentially, like, if you hit with this on turn 2, you can search out the Lukier, put it into your soul, and then immediately go into the reverse or Venus Lukier to have yourself the cross-ride base right off the bat on turn 3, which is very, very nice. Next is Silverthorn Masher Dragon. So this is one of the other grade 3s that I'm not the biggest fan of, but let's go over it regardless. When you write it or call it, which is nice, reveal the top 3 of your deck, choose up to 3 cards with different grades with Silverthorn and their card names from among them, put them into your soul, and put the rest in the bottom of your deck in any order, and this unit gets plus 2k for each card put into your soul until end of turn. So, kind of nice because it can be called from hand or from soul, so if you have one, even if you run one and you just like, with the last grade 2 we looked at, if you put this in the soul and then you keep popping it out, you look at the top 3 for free, and then you keep sliding stuff into the soul and he gets power as well. So even though he's a 10k base, I could run this at 1, and then just kind of, you know, slap it in the soul as fast as possible and then just keep pulling it out every other turn and have myself a, you know, 12, 14 or 16k attacker with like whatever boost I decide to apply to it. So overall it's actually not that bad of a card. The 10k base can be kind of, you know, worrying, but it's definitely not that bad because as long as you don't write into it, and if you run 1, the chances of writing into it aren't that likely anyway, I think it's actually fairly okay. Next is Silverthorn Acute Dragon. This one has 2 GB1s, the first one of which is when you call it, if your Vanguard is a Lukier, it gets plus 2k until end of turn. So again, can be called from hand or from soul. And the second skill is when your other unit is placed in Rearguard Circle from soul, if you have Vanguard with Lukier in its card name, this unit gets plus 2k until end of turn. So it's a kind of like Upright Lion, just limited to GB1, and also buffs the things that are called. So kind of like a different take on Upright Lion. I believe it was called Upright Lion, the other Silverthorn grade 2 that you still play as a 4 of, but I'll see if I play this one. I might try, because it's nice that it kind of splits up that power. You know, it's kind of like a Broken Heart just for Lukier exclusively, so the card definitely isn't bad, and I'm going to give it a good try. Next is Silverthorn Clown Cerne or Cerne. Has a GB1, at the end of the battle this unit boosted a Vanguard. You can put him into your soul and choose a card from your hand and discard it. If you do, choose a card from your soul with Silverthorn in its card name and call it to Rearguard Circle. So you can call out the Silverthorn version of Purple Trapezist with this very easily and then give yourself another attack. So that's definitely nice, and that's basically why it costs the discard as well, because it essentially gives you an extra attack. And it calls it to Rearguard Circle, not to an open one, so that really does secure an extra attack. So definitely very nice. Soul skill is when your unit with Silverthorn in its card name is placed on Rearguard Circle from Soul. If your Vanguard is a Lukier, you can counterblast 1. If you do, call this card to Rearguard Circle. So you're basically always going to have it. It does cost a counterblast, so that might start costing a fair bit. And I'm still not sure what perfect cards I'm going to run in this deck. I might actually go with the countercharging ones because of how much counterblast this deck is looking to cost me. So we'll see. That's what testing is for, but we'll see what I end up with at the end. Now let's go over the final of the Silverthorn cards, which is Silverthorn Beast Tamer Lolotte. Skill is, at the end of your turn, if you have Vanguard with Silverthorn in its card name, you can choose this unit and another of your Rearguards with Silverthorn in its name and put them into your soul. If you do, countercharge 1 and choose up to 1 grade 3 card from your soul and put it into your hand. So that immediately fuels your strike cost for next turn and gives you countercharge as well, which is quite important for Silverthorns, but I'm not sure if it's better than the old Silverthorn starter, which looks at top 5 to give you a possible of 3 to 4, I think it's 3 or maybe 4 soul charges. So definitely, I think that one's still going to be stronger, but I'll give this one a try and see how it goes. So we actually managed to not hit an hour this time, which is definitely a good sign. So I hope you guys did like the set breakdown. You know, it hasn't been that long since the last one, but it feels like it's been a lot longer. But yeah, so this was the set that was originally an April Fool's joke and then became a proper set after some time. Now we're not going to have another character booster for a while because we've got stuff like Fighters Collection, and then there's the Legend deck, and then other actual sets coming up. So I think the next clan character booster we have is going to be the Bermuda one, if it's not labeled as a clan booster. I'm not too sure, but we'll see. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy the set breakdown. I tried to keep things same as usual, you know, just kind of usual banter while going over all the cards and splitting things up into archetypes and clans. So I hope you guys did enjoy it, and that's going to be pretty much it for me today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.